NEWS.MC on Monaco Info is brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties. Bringing you news on Monaco's economy, culture, sports and more. Welcome to NEWS.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Coming up on NEWS.MC, discover past week's top stories and meet the people who make Monaco.
My name is Laurent Anselmi. I am the president of the Academy of the Sea of Monaco, and you're watching NEWS.MC on Monaco Info.
What's been making headline in the past week? The third edition of the Green Shift Festival, launched by the Prince Albert II of Monaco Foundation in 2022, opened on June the 5th with a renewed focus on creativity and inspiration as catalysts for ecological transition. Held in Monaco, this unique event blends workshops, meditation and discussion panels to reimagine a sustainable future. Highlights included an immersive journey to 2050 and conferences on shaping collective environmental narratives. With a blend of movement, self-hypnosis and committed dialogue, the festival encourages participants to manifest change. The event continues to grow in scope and ambition, positioning Monaco as a hub for positive ecological storytelling and a hopeful vision of the planet's future. Monaco's Department of International Cooperation presented its 2022 to 2024 strategic report on June 6th, revealing that its initiatives directly benefited 3.5 million people worldwide. Over 74 million euros was mobilized to support 250 development projects across 12 countries, focusing on health, nutrition, education, child protection, and access to work. Despite being a small state, Monaco has built a powerful humanitarian presence, particularly in crisis-hit regions like the Sahel and Lebanon. Projects prioritize support for women, children, refugees, and vulnerable populations. A new 6-year fund for social entrepreneurship and impact investment was also announced. Monaco's approach, driven by partnerships and grassroots engagement, was praised for its constructive and inclusive values. The Central African Republic has now been added to the list of aid recipients. Described as a small country with a big heart, Monaco continues to punch above its weight in global solidarity. Monaco officially welcomed the Malizia Explorer on the 6th of June, a next-generation scientific sailboat dedicated to studying the impact of climate change on the oceans. The vessel was christened at the Yacht Club de Monaco in the presence of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II and skipper Boris Herman, the face of the Malizia team. Originally launched in 2005, the boat has been significantly upgraded and now serves as a floating climate laboratory equipped to collect vital oceanic data. It symbolizes Monaco's ongoing commitment to ocean preservation. The initiative forms part of the UN Ocean Conference efforts and highlights the urgency of exploring and understanding the ocean. France and Monaco marked a milestone in their diplomatic relationship as President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte arrived in the Principality for a 2-day state visit on the 7th and 8th of June, the first of its kind by a French president in over 4 decades. The visit, elevated to the highest level of diplomatic protocol, underscores the growing alignment between the two nations, particularly on environmental issues. The French presidential couple were received at the Prince's Palace with full ceremonial honors, including a military procession, national anthems, and a review of the troops by His Serene Highness Prince Albert II. The warm atmosphere was matched by moments of genuine affection between the two couples, with Princess Charlene and Mrs. Macron later spending time together in the palace gardens with the princely children. At the heart of the visit is a shared commitment to ocean preservation and sustainable development. The second day will be centered around the environment, including a visit to Monaco's Oceanographic Institute and participation in the Blue Economy and Finance Forum, an event designed to drive investment into marine sustainability and timed to coincide with the United Nations Ocean Conference in nearby Nice. During a state dinner at the Prince's Palace, President Macron praised His Serene Highness Prince Albert II's pioneering leadership in ocean conservation, calling him a scientific statesman who has inspired global efforts through personal commitment. He also highlighted Monaco's role on the international stage, affirming that there are no small countries, only countries that choose great causes. By placing environmental diplomacy and regional cooperation at the center of the agenda, France's state visit follows the example long set by Monaco. The Principality has been a consistent advocate for marine conservation and sustainability through the leadership of Prince Albert II, making Monaco a natural host for this renewed chapter in Franco-Monegasque relations. Monaco hosted the Blue Economy and Finance Forum on June the 7th and 8th at the Grimaldi Forum, ahead of the United Nations Ocean Conference in Nice. Co-organized by the Principality, France and Costa Rica, the event gathered heads of state, financial leaders, scientists and conservationists to drive investment in the blue economy valued at $25 trillion but urgently threatened by human degradation of marine ecosystems. The forum aimed to align financial innovation with environmental sustainability, focusing on concrete steps to regenerate ocean health. Key speakers included His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, French President Emmanuel Macron, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde, and UN Special Envoy Peter Thompson. They called for ethical funding of marine science and a shift from extraction to regeneration. A highlight was the signing of the Sustainable Mediterranean Cruise Charter between France and Monaco, demonstrating regional cooperation. The event concluded with a united appeal for bold action, bridging science, policy and finance to support ocean preservation for future generations, laying the groundwork for international progress at UNOC3. France and Monaco have reinforced their long-standing partnership with the signing of a new amendment to their 1963 customs agreement. The agreement was formalized during a ministerial breakfast held at the Hôtel Hermitage, bringing together French and Monegasque delegations. This amendment clarifies and strengthens the legal framework for the exchange of information between the two states, aiming to improve customs efficiency and transparency. The signing marks one of the key moments of the official French state visit to the Principality, underscoring the close bilateral relationship. The third United Nations Ocean Conference opened in Nice on June 8th with global leaders, including His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, calling for urgent action to protect the oceans and announcing key milestones like the implementation of a new treaty. Co-hosted by France and Costa Rica, the event welcomed over 220 countries, with 50 heads of state and government in attendance. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II of Monaco addressed the opening session, warning of worsening threats to ocean health and calling for unity in tackling climate change, biodiversity loss and plastic pollution. French President Emmanuel Macron announced the forthcoming implementation of the landmark High Seas Treaty for Biodiversity, hailing it as a decisive breakthrough. The conference builds on Monaco's Blue Economy and Finance Forum, which secured $5 billion in financial commitments for ocean preservation. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II also participated in the launch of the Polar Donors Roundtable and visited an immersive ocean-themed exhibition. The unveiling of the new Starfish Ocean Barometer added a practical tool to track environmental progress year on year. The Roca team pulled off a stunning comeback to beat Asvel 91-86, scoring the final 20 unanswered points after trailing by 15 in the fourth quarter. That dramatic turnaround sealed the series 3-1, sparing them a nervy Game 5 and booking their place in the Betclic Elite final against Paris. Asvel had looked in control for most of the match, but completely imploded down the stretch. Monaco, chasing a fourth straight final, now face a 2024 rematch with Paris, this time without home court advantage. Next up, our exclusive interview with the personalities making the Principality.
My name is Laurent Anselmi. I am the president of the Academy of the Sea of Monaco. I'm basically a lawyer, nobody being perfect, and I've studied in the law school at University of Nice. And I became progressively, let's say, a specialist, but I tell that with a lot of humility, of the constitutional law and constitutional law of monarchies. At a certain moment, I had the opportunity to come back to Monaco, which was my homeland. I grew up in Monaco, my parents grew up in Monaco, my grandparents parents grew up in Monaco, and the first ancestor in my family who arrived in Monaco was carabinier of the Prince Albert I. I'm issued from an old family of Monaco. Since nearly 2 years, I'm the president of a new institution which has been created by His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, which is called the Academy of the Sea of Monaco, in French, l'Académie de la Mer de Monaco. We have a new approach of the issues pertaining to seas and oceans, which is multidisciplinary. So we consider that all the phenomena are fundamentally complex. This is how we try to explain and to teach what is going on with those issues. I used to say that the Academy of the Sea is a rocket with 3 floors. The first floor, let's say, is an emblem of our know-how in Monaco, is a summer school that we organize every year in Monaco, 40 students. They receive fundamental teachings. Second floor is formation that we do abroad. So we are about to do one in Marrakech, Morocco, with a local partner, which is an excellent private university called Menara University. And this is, let's say, the miniature of the summer school. And we do the same, but smaller, 30 students from North Africa and Africa. And our goal would be to transform ourselves in a small university of the seas, delivering 2 master's degrees, one with an environmental orientation, the other one with a geopolitical orientation, having common courses. So this is our goal. So you see there is, as we say in French, pain sur la planche. There is no age limit. Last year, the youngest was a young lady from North Africa. She was 21. And the oldest was from North Africa, from Tunisia. She was 63. So the minimum standards is to have at least 3 years of studies in university. What we are looking for is, as we say in French, to have beaux esprits. That means able to get out of their specialty and to interest themselves to something else, and obviously to have an interest, if not a passion, for seas and oceans. In our summer university, the last day, we organize a conference which is open to the public and not only to the 40 participants. The topic is changing every year, and this year it will be sea and energies. And next year, the topic will be sea and human health. What could be the consequences of the diminution of the maritime biodiversity on the pharmaceutical aspects. Monaco is, on a lot of aspects, a model on the field of protection of seas and oceans. Just see what we do in the Réserve Marine du Nord Vautour. We have the idea to draft an agreement in order to prevent, to avoid, but also to punish such a pollution in the Mediterranean. This is a type of thing that we can do through the Academy of the Sea of Monaco. I think that obviously, having had those positions, I have maybe an international vision how this academy can be used. I think that one of the best diplomacy is doubtless the diplomacy of the knowledge. As we say in French, la diplomatie du savoir. The transmission of knowledge is maybe one of the best services you can give to mankind. I've always had the feeling that Monaco was a prestigious place. Prince Rainier has substantially contributed to giving this prestige to the country, and Prince Albert, obviously, I continued this on this way. I was confident in the future of the country, yes, always. We are like pilgrims, you know, we have to carry on and never lose courage to bear this message. Monaco has an international prestige. We have to be optimistic, even if the situation is not good, as you can underline, but never lose courage. We will never surrender, as Churchill said.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching NEWS.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Discover the full interview and more stories on our websites, NEWS.MC and MonacoInfo.com. Next week we will receive Isabel Christensen, fashion designer. This show is intended to provide a summary of the past week's top stories for the English-speaking audience. For daily and real-time news updates in English, please visit NEWS.MC and subscribe to our free daily newsletter. For French news, visit monacoinfo.com. This show was brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties.